looking at this Broncos situation, I'm just like, how have they gone this far without more wide receiver depth on their roster? To me, it baffles me. They got Cortland Sutton as the clear one. He's the future. He's a stud. And then you got Deshaun Hamilton, who could be a good slot guy, kind of a catch guy, a yards after catch guy. And then it's Tim Patrick. So you're really thin there. You got nothing. And they got Drew Lock at quarterback. This is a guy who they clearly trust. I mean, he came on strong there at the end of last season, and it's a guy they want to, see if he can go out there and get it done. They want to take their chances with Drew Lock and see what he can do, and they're not really setting him up very fairly if they're rolling him out there with Tim Patrick split out on 75% of snaps. So for me, they need another wide receiver, especially with that quarterback situation. And I know they got Noah Fant, and we've talked about it before. I think he takes a huge step forward this year. He's a good yards after catch guy. He's really explosive. He's got great measurables. So Fant will help for sure, especially with some underneath stuff. But they've got to sign somebody. There's a lot of names that make sense for Denver for me. They got $52 million in cap space, so I think they could get a Robbie Anderson. I think they could get a Brashad Perriman would be really interesting. Take a chance on a guy like that. Someone who doesn't have to be the one. I think they do trust Sutton to be the one. But one of these young guys with some upside to come in and be the two, be the field stretcher. And then some guys in the draft make sense for me on day two. Guys like Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins. I know we just talked about them, but it's a deep class, and there's going to be some value at wide receiver later on. So I think they could snag one of those guys and have that young core of a young rookie, and that's a day two pick that's got a lot of potential. Cortland Sutton on the other side, Noah Fant at tight end, and Drew Lock at quarterback with Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman at running back. That's a really strong nucleus at your skill positions, and I think it makes a lot of sense for them moving forward. For me, it doesn't make sense for them to go get one of these big-name free agents because I don't think they're really contenders right now. Maybe if somehow Amari Cooper wanted to go to Denver, I don't see that happening. Like, they could, put together some logic to why that would make sense. He's still only 26 years old, but to me, the much more likely situation is to go young. You could go a little cheaper if it's a free agent and try to build that nucleus around Drew Lock. What do you think, Steph?
Yeah, I'm with you. There's some interesting names in terms of the draft. They're talking about the draft capital. They have the 15th overall pick. They have the 14th pick in the second round, and then they have 3 third-round picks, so they could easily grab a guy on day 3. And one of my guys, if we're looking at names coming out of college this year, is Jalen Reagor. He is being totally slept on.
Beast.
He's out of TCU. He's an absolute machine. Beast. And I'm very excited for this guy. I think he'd be a great fit for the Broncos there. He can help as a field stretcher opposite of Cortland Sutton. They'll give Locke. Locke will have his time to prove it. They're going to put their weapons around him. And, you mentioned Fant. I think he's going to have a huge breakout in 2020. And, that takes some of the pressure off whatever rookie that they're going to bring in, give him some time to learn the system and mesh with Drew Lock. I love Jalen Reagor there. I also love Henry Ruggs. I know it's a guy we keep bringing up, but he could be the next Tyreek Hill, man. Like, I'm pretty pumped to watch Ruggs and see where he goes. He could be huge for any offense. They could use his skill set. Let's move on to